This is China. And this is the United States. China and the United States have been engaging in trade for over 2 centuries. But what are tariffs, and how are they affecting everyone? In this video, I'm going to try to explain as best as I can, and I know it can be confusing, but bear with me. Imagine China with a balance of $100, and this is the United States also with a balance of $100. Let's say someone in China decided to sell an item for $1 to someone in the United States. Normally this item would be sold, China would get paid, and they would be $1 richer. And if someone in the United States sells something to someone in China, then they get that money back. That would be considered equal trade and both countries would be growing at the exact same time. But then, the United States had an idea that would change everything. In 1789, they passed a Tariff Act which would impose tariffs on all imported goods. Let's say the United States put a 10% tariff on China. So if a US citizen buys something from China, 10% of that will become a tariff fee, putting some of that money back into the United States. This would mean that China has to raise prices on all their goods just to get the same dollar they used to get. The result of this will discourage US citizens to buy stuff from China and to just start manufacturing in the US. This will further take even more business out of China, causing the US to get richer and richer and richer. But then something happened. China decided to fight fire with fire and put tariffs back on the United States. And ever since that day, China has increased their tariffs to offset the trade in their favor. Throughout the years, China has been taking more and more wealth from countries all over the world and investing back into its own economy, growing it rapidly. That is until January 2018, when US President Donald Trump began setting tariffs and other trade barriers on China with the goal of forcing it to make changes. More recently, the United States and China have been going back and forth with increasing their tariffs to see which country will back down first. Since then, the United States has now placed a 245% tariff on China. China commented back and said after imposing 125% tariffs on American goods on April 12, 2025, and they said that if the United States imposes any further tariffs, it'll just simply ignore them, because it has already become impossible for Chinese markets to accept goods at these current levels. At this point, it's like 2 cars speeding towards each other and we're just waiting to see whose economy is gonna swerve first. I hope I did an okay job at explaining, and if you learned something today, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you want to make some extra money, check out my video on how to make $10,000 real quick. And I'll see you guys on the next one.